Hare Krishna, good evening. Hello, everyone. Just feeling a little inspired to talk about how amazing it is that I'm on this path of Krishna consciousness, um, trying to understand that actually this is the goal of life. The human perfection is to become Krishna conscious, to know and love Krishna. So I was just thinking how wonderful that is, because for so many countless lifetimes, and certainly for much of this lifetime, I was wandering around aimlessly, not knowing what to do really with my life. Um, just kind of like being on the ocean, pushed around by the waves. And those waves are the waves of illusion, now I understand, Maya. So by the grace of the pure devotees, to come to the understanding that yes, there is a wonderful purpose to life, and especially in this human life, we have the opportunity to actually realize that wonderful objective, and that is through the process of bhakti yoga. Yoga meaning to connect with God, with Krishna, and bhakti through love and devotion. So this then becomes purpose. This becomes one's aim. One understands that what we are doing here, what we should be doing here. In other words, the doubts are removed, the useless endeavors are finished. Running here and there, trying to find happiness, being frustrated, being defeated, time and again in this material world, the samsara, the cycle of birth and death, being defeated again and again. So by the grace of the pure devotee of Krishna, to come to believe that yes, now this is the goal. Here I should put my attention, put my energy into this activity, trying to perform this yoga, this devotional yoga, Shravanam, hearing about Krishna, Kirtanam, speaking about him, Vandanam, offering prayers. And in this way, the 9 limbs of the bhakti process, if one becomes fortunately convinced that this is my life, this is the purpose of my being here, this is the road to ultimate fulfillment and happiness as described in the Vedas, this wonderful place, Vrindavan, which is described as indescribably blissful. This is what I've been looking for, just like I mentioned to my good wife, Rasli, the other day, that George Harrison, in his introduction to the Krishna book, which he sponsored, he says that everyone is looking for Krishna, but not everyone knows that. Some people don't know that. So if one can come to the understanding and the realization that yes, this is actually what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Krishna. As Srila Sridhar Maharaj says so beautifully, the search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. So even though I am just at the very, just my toes are barely in the ocean of devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but still to become more and more convinced that yes, here I should put my time, here I should put my energy. This is worthwhile. This is the road to stay on. This is the path, to come to that understanding and realization, and to become more and more fixed in that realization. How fortunate that is, how fortunate that is. And of course, as one progresses, one can become more and more sure and reassured that yes, I'm on the right path here. I'm finally on the right path. And now I just have to persevere. As my Guruji was like to quote from the Book of Changes, the Chinese I Ching, that perseverance furthers, that if I persevere under the guidance of the great souls, trying to follow their instructions day by day, then I can make progress, and then the road becomes more smooth and more blissful, and as one is approaching that transcendental realm and the life there, and becoming more confident that I just need to stay on the path and keep praying to be humble above all. Humility is the key to the spiritual world. So I just wanted to share that, so that it's a simple thing, but an amazing thing, that one can become relieved of all the misconceptions, what I should do with my life. I remember when I was at school, high school, even though I was an achiever, I was the head prefect and this and that, but still I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wasn't motivated. So I went to university because that's what you were supposed to do. I didn't really know what to study, so you take psychology because that's kind of, middle of the road. So not knowing, what I should do, and thinking that I'm getting education, but that education was not education. It wasn't telling me, firstly, who I am. I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and certainly not telling me anything about my relationship with the Supreme Divine Person, Sri Krishna. That university education didn't tell me a thing about that. So that means I was lost. Although outwardly, from the external material point of view, it looks like, oh, he's achieving, he's at university and he's studying, and what is that? It's illusion. No education, because there's no understanding of who I am and my real purpose, which is to engage in the loving service of Sri Krishna. So having been taken from that dark space, because it is a dark space, to be lost is one thing, but not even to know that you're lost, that is even more unfortunate. So by the grace of these great souls, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Vijay Tirtha Maharaj, Srila Shri Maharaj, Srila Rai Maharaj, and all the acharyas who descend to this world, some are now getting the information that, Bhakti Yoga, this is the real life. As the saying goes, our real life is with Krishna. So, let us move forward, as Srila Maharaj says, from the land of exploitation to the land of dedication. And it's such a sweet world, that place, even though, I don't know anything about it really, but the descriptions are so sweet that it's full of beautiful qualities of love and compassion and joy and no anxiety, and especially love, that there's no exploitation there, not at all. Krishna is the center of everyone's life, and they all cooperate in one way or another to serve and please Krishna, and Krishna on the other hand is always trying to please the devotees. So that world is indescribably blissful, and that's the world that the great souls have come to tell us about. They've descended from that world, and fortunate are we, even if we don't really appreciate our good fortune. But at least if we have some idea that, yes, this is the real thing. I'm not being cheated, because we've all had experience of being cheated in relationships, especially in the material world. So we're, as my Guruji said, we're born skeptics. But this is something else. And so let us move on. Marching home to the supreme home, sweet home, Sri Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.